This is Pucks in 7 with Ryan Paton.
Okay, welcome back to Pucks in 7. Here's a question as I bring in my guest. What happens when hockey and fashion collide? I don't know the answer, but this lady does, to my left, right, depending upon where you look at the screen. Annie O'D, Cherry Bomb Hockey Podcast. Fashion and the NHL are your thing. You and I connected last week. Pretty fast turnaround. It's good to see you, and nice to have you on the show.
No, thank you for having me, Ryan. I'm so excited.
So much to get into with you. We'll talk hockey on the ice, different things, and I also kind of briefed you a bit on the 77 seconds thing that we're going to do. So 7 seconds, no timer. Don't worry about it. It's totally fine. I think I put 8 questions in, actually. So if you get the first few wrong, then I just end the show. I'm just kidding. No, I just don't end the show. We're good. We'll go into that later on to end the show. Let's begin, though, with, again, I'm fascinated by what you do. I love what you do. This is different for me to talk to somebody like you. Number one, we'll get into hockey too in just a second, all the stuff on the ice, but this whole fashion thing. So where did this start with you? What was there a moment in time you thought, you know what, I'm going to post this or I'm going to do this and I'm going to make something of this?
You know, I started making just hockey content in general. Started just before COVID hit, actually. And because I just love talking sports, specifically hockey. But fashion's always been a passion and a love of mine, and always love, different ways to whether it's like a game day outfit or I also collect vintage jerseys. So I just think jerseys and any sport jersey, but hockey jerseys specifically are just such a versatile and one of the most beautiful pieces of fashion there is. Maybe that's a little controversial.
There's one right here. There's an old one right here, a vintage one.
Exactly. There's just so much to do with it, and so much story, so much just history behind each one. I just think that's part of fashion too, is that, fashion has evolved just from years and generations, and it's reflective of, our society and things. It goes so deep, as does sports. So when it came to making content and trying to do different things, I kind of took the concept of, make the content that you want to see, make the content you genuinely enjoy making and something that you're passionate about. Otherwise, you're not going to stick with it. And I think that's transferable to anything. Yeah. So I got that started. I think it started pretty, pretty fan centric with, ranking reverse retro jerseys, thoughts on those. And, once the WAG playoff jackets started to take really steam, it came to those things. And, it's funny enough, this season, now that there's no dress code, so you get to see a little, which I think is, despite what many of my comments say, which is bring back the suits, bring back the dress code, which I would say a good 75% of the league still wears their suits. And as they should. These guys, think about it. They come into the league and they probably think, I need some good suits to travel, and pay a pretty penny for them. I'm going to wear them too. I don't blame them. But it is fun to see, a bit more of these players' personalities come out with the way they dress. And I figure, we'll do a quick little video series on that, on quick thoughts on it. We won't harp too much. We won't spend too much time on each, because at the end of the day, these guys are walking into the rink with I think these guys spend all of their commute there and back into the locker room in them. So, as far as functionality goes and things, don't think too much into it, but just kind of a quick rapid fire thing. And it has really taken off, which is really fun to see. And not something I really didn't expect. I just thought, hey, I'll make this kind of quick, fun video and see what happens. And a lot of people enjoy it. So I've always tried to find kind of the sweet spot of, hockey and pop culture hockey and, kind of blending it with something more fun. I also love rock and roll. So I've done videos on like teams as dad rock bands and things like that. So I always try to make sports fun, but also, have knowledge and reasoning behind it. Cause I am, a student of the game. I'm learning how to play right now. I love watching hockey. So I wanted to
get into that too. I'll get into that with you in just a bit. You know what? It's great about what you do, and just was thinking off the top of my head as you were answering that question. the NHL for a long time was dull. And what I mean by that is kind of off the ice, right? The NBA has been for much longer, this personality you see with the fashion and everybody dressing up and walking in the tunnel, into the room and all that. But the NHL, didn't have this and didn't have that. They never had the cameras really following all the players coming in, say, on a Saturday night. Hockey Night in Canada, for example, I'm in Toronto, so Hockey Night in Canada's been a staple. But now I love what the league is doing, and the players have embraced it. And that is so important, because not only do you have the fact that these are the best players in the game, in the world, but you've got these young kids looking at them, and I guarantee you they're picking up some style points, probably. I am.
No, for sure. And I think for the longest time, I think any hockey fan has kind of had the critique of the NHL that the NHL does not know how to market these players.
Exactly.
That hockey players are boring, that they don't have personality. And which it's, I think, granted, like, especially in hockey where, think about it, you're sent away at such a young age to play junior hockey, and that's just your culture and your personality for so long. So I can see where people would think that kind of, it's kind of like they come off a conveyor belt at times, but then you get your rare, little personalities here and there. But you have to create avenues, and you have to create spaces, and not only, spaces where they're comfortable for them to showcase their personalities. Right. It's not just like, obviously social media is really big, and a lot of teams are doing the fun questions and things, but it's not just like shoving a mic in their face and asking, questions as they come off the ice for practice or during media day.
Right.
Allowing no dress code is honestly a very safe way to allow them to show their personality and to, freely express themselves. And a lot of, guys are taking advantage of it. Some are going as far as hiring stylists and upgrading the wardrobe. I mean, Mikhail Sergachev is out here just, I was always, my vote for best dress was always,
you're a big fan of his. Yeah, you're
I
a big fan
am a big, I confess. Listen, for the longest time, I always thought Patrick Laine was the best dressed in the league. Which he's still
like those turtleneck things, right? You fan of those?
Things, the suits. I mean, the fact that he got married over the summer and he wore a pink suit to his rehearsal dinner. And it looked so good, though. But what man would wear a pink suit to his rehearsal dinner?
Got to be confident.
Exactly.
Yeah. I remember him.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I remember him when he was, it was the beginning of last season when he was injured. And so the game one in Montreal in the home opener, and the camera went to the players that weren't playing and weren't able to dress and whatever. And everybody gave him such a huge ovation because they loved the guy and they wanted to see him back on the ice healthy. I can't remember exactly the suit that he was wearing. I know he had the turtleneck on, but he had this, I think, orange toque or some sort of toque on, which I thought, that to me, I don't know what it is, but it struck me that here is somebody, again, going back to what you're saying about the pink suit, so confident in themselves. And I think that goes a long way. And I don't know, just telling us all, like fans, kind of what these guys are like on the ice and even off the ice.
No, for sure. And, you kind of see even the simpler side of it. Some of these guys look like they're showing up to play a round of golf, or look like they're working in a, for a startup sometimes with just the pants and the polo shirt, which, listen, not my style specifically, but who am I? If your priority is comfort, I think it was Jason Kelsey that kind of said because he on New Heights, they were talking about a game day fit, which Travis goes all out and has all the suits and stuff, and Jason shows up in jeans and flip flops. He's like, what am I gonna do with a game day fit? Like, I'm just showing up to play football. Like, so many people have that mentality too, and it's great, to each their own. But it's also a fun way for fans to further connect in the game, and like we've been saying, just kind of see a little bit more of their personality.
Have you had a lot of feedback from the players themselves on things you've done?
I do know that the players love the fit reviews. I do have confirmation of that. I have confirmation that the teams do, the league does, which is great because sometimes when you like for me, I'm independent, so not tied to a media company or anything. So I kind of feel very free to talk about things, and sometimes I talk about things without the care of what higher contingencies are going to think, which sometimes angers some of the bigger bodies here, like the Winter Classic and the way it's marketed and certain decisions that are made there. So the fact that the league is on board with something I'm doing, I'm like, okay, I'll take it. This is a win.
That's good. That's good feedback. Absolutely good feedback. I went in through kind of your posts and things, and there's so many questions I have from all of them, which we'll get into. But let's begin first of all when we talk hockey. So let's get that. We'll dive back into fashion later on too. You're in Anaheim. So the Ducks, one of the great stories this season. I have been pulling for teams like Anaheim, Chicago, San Jose. all these young clubs that have been struggling, but they've been able, because they've been struggling. The good part about that is you draft well, and they got Celebrini, you got Leo Carlson in Anaheim, you have Connor Bedard in Chicago. All three of them are playing extraordinarily well. Your thoughts on the team, where they're at now, and it seems to me, and you probably agree, they're trending in the right direction.
Absolutely. I mean, I think kind of going into last year, the thought was, hey, we have all this young talent. We see, everyone's talking about the Anaheim prospect pool, all these, shiny new toys that are coming in. When are they going to take the next step? And everyone was hoping for it to be last year to see some progress, maybe not playoffs, but trending closer. And, there was watching last season was just super frustrating because you could see the talent there, but there were pieces that were just not clicking. It was, and I do think a big part of it, I hate blaming the guy while he's not in the job anymore, but you could definitely tell that, the coaching style was a huge part of it.
Yeah,
so
100%.
It's one of those things where you have to say, okay, you've got all these young guys here and you're getting, which mind you, Anaheim's also an organization going back to like Bob Murray, where stories were not quick to get out of the Anaheim front office. It was always very, when trades were happening, the Elliot Friedmans, the LeBruns, they weren't getting tips and insider stuff on it. So the fact that stuff was leaking out was telling me, I'm like, okay, like this is, something's not right here. Like something's there's some truth to the fact that players aren't happy with the coaching regime in the locker room. And then, you go into, last summer where obviously Pat Verbeek put his balls on the table, made a huge, probably the ballsiest coaching change that, which quite frankly, I think a majority of teams would have done if they had the guts to do it. And hiring the best coaching candidate available in Joel Quenneville, and it's paying off tremendously already. And as you kind of look at the young talent part of that was also Trevor Zegras and saying, hey, he's a guy who struggled under Greg Cronin clearly, and they didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things. The guy would make a mistake and then he was benched right away. And of course he gets traded, of course, to Philadelphia. But it's tough when fan favorites get traded, but if you're Pat Verbeek, you have to think you have all these young guys that that are upcoming RFAs. Yeah, the cap is going up, but you also have to think money wise, like, behind you have Leo Carlson at your top center, you have Mason McTavish at second, Trevor Zegras. You want to be paying your third line center that much money. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It didn't make sense to me at the time, even though, hey, the trade, I didn't exactly like it, but you have to believe that, there's a plan in place. But it's a business, and that's an example of the NHL being a business. Joel Quenneville, I had this discussion the other day with somebody, and they called me out on it. I said, no, I think that he is the best coach for that team. And he said, hold on a second. The guy's 67. I think he's 67. Anyway, he's older. But I just think that there's something about him. Again, you said if Verbeek put his balls on the table to make that type of move. But I just think maybe this is also helping Quenneville in a way, coaching some younger players, maybe changing some of his tactics or whatever. I think he's maybe changing a bit into more of a player's coach now. Not saying Quenneville wasn't before, but I think this is helping Quenneville out as much as it's helping the players out too, I think. Oh, for sure. I mean, I think it's the perfect market for him to come back into. And, you
agree.
harp on kind of the timing of when he came into Chicago and kind of the parallels that were there and what he was able to get out of the young guys then. And he's been, I think a lot of people were harping on the fact that he was out of the game for so long. People were acting like he's out of the game for 10 years. I was like, okay, it wasn't that long. Like, he's still watching the games. He's paying attention. But, he would not have, coming back into a market like Anaheim where, hey, the fans, they're great. They're passionate. The fans here love their hockey, but it's not Toronto. It's not Montreal. It's not Boston. You're not under the microscope of the littlest slip up where every move is watched. And you have a team of talent, potential young talent. You have some veteran presence there. You're not in a Pittsburgh situation where you're trying to just squeeze as much as much out of an aging core as much as you. I tell people all the time, I was like, Kyle Dubas's job is the last job I would want. One of the last GM jobs I would want in this league. Maybe Buffalo's there too, but Pittsburgh.
If they call me, I'll pass. Thanks, I'll pass.
Exactly. But it's, I do think that, you kind of have all this talent here. It's a great way for him to step back into the game, and he's clearly having a lot of success with it. Just telling the guys to play hard and play their game and putting the young guys in situations where they can succeed. And I think that's the biggest difference between the likes of Greg Cronin and a guy like Joel Quenneville is the young guys are going on the ice knowing that their coach trusts them. Their coach trusts them to make the right plays and trust them in high pressure situations.
There was a moment, and I've talked about this a few times. I think it was the second weekend of the season in Montreal. The Canadians were getting set. I forget who they were playing, but it was about to go to 3-on-3 overtime. And the camera picked up Martin St. Louis, the head coach, talking to Lane Hudson, Cole Caulfield, and Nick Suzuki. And I looked at the camera shot and I thought something's off. What was off was that St. Louis wasn't even talking. The mouth wasn't moving. He was listening. And after the game, and that struck with me, I thought, that's odd. After the game, to each of them said, St. Louis asked them, what do you think the game plan should be? What do you guys want to have happen in overtime? And they ended up winning the game. And I thought, that is what coaching is to me. When you have a young league now, for example, in Anaheim, young players, and you have Coach Q on the bench who's been around a long time, give them the opportunity to say, hey, here's what I think we should do, because that to me will bode well. If it doesn't happen that game, I think that'll bode well for the team down the road.
Totally. And I think that also proves that, hey, it's not an age thing. Yeah, Marty St. Louis is a lot younger. And a lot of people were saying like, oh, maybe Anaheim needs a younger coach like a St. Louis. It's not an age thing. It's a coaching style thing. And obviously Quenneville's, he's not new to allowing feedback from putting his players in those positions where they can offer feedback. I mean, he doesn't let Jonathan Toews be the captain of the Chicago Blackhawks at his young age if he didn't believe in that. So obviously we're seeing it now. I mean, Connor Bedard, Macklin Celebrini, both getting hat tricks the other night. They're atop the scoring race. Leo Carlsson's not behind. The future is now. The youth is thriving. I mean, Hockey Canada is allowing Matthew Schaefer to potentially be on Team Canada for the Olympics.
He's 18.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously you don't invite him to orientation camp out of, before he even plays an NHL game when, I understand that. But now you've got Macklin's. I mean, I think it would be a mistake to not have Macklin Celebrini and Connor Bedard on your Olympic rosters. But
I agree.
That's an American's opinion on that.
No, hey, with the Canadian, I'm totally with you. And I'm a firm believer now with the way the game is being played. And whenever you talk about a Schaefer and a Celebrini, Bedard, I've seen articles recently. And one of the questions is, lack of experience. And I thought, you know what? It doesn't matter to me. If there's any age bracket with the talent that they have that I think would benefit a lot from that. And if they make a mistake, whatever, I just think you got to put these guys in that situation because talent-wise, they're some of the best in the league right now. So I'm with you. Totally want those players to get on that team. You mentioned go ahead.
I was going to say, I just feel like a lot of coaches, I kind of say that, they all want to be the Herb Brooks, be like, I'm not looking for the best players, I'm looking for the right ones. So, come on. I mean, you saw it in, Team Canada World Juniors when they left the likes of Beckett Seneca home from the World Juniors. You saw it in Four Nations when, listen, Chris Kreider's a Duck now and he's great, but you took the likes of Chris Kreider and Vinny Trocheck over and Tage Thompson and Cole Caulfield and Clayton Keller were left home. It's just one of those things where you're like, what are you doing? I get it. You want to build all four lines, but build all four lines with great players.
Yeah. I'm all for the Four Nations. I want to see it again and again and again. Am, as time goes on, Annie, I'm more against isn't the right word, but I'm not as intrigued with the All-Star game. I would much rather see something like the Four Nations replace the All-Star game. I don't think the skills competition is anything to even watch anymore. Where do you stand on that?
Absolutely, 1,000%. I've never been big on All-Star games. Never have. I mean, Major League Baseball, I think has it right. The Home Run Derby is the only thing I care about as far as All-Star games go. Yeah. Couldn't tell you the last time I watched a Pro Bowl. Couldn't tell NBA All-Star game. No, thank you. But they try, and the league is trying, and I respect that with the skills competition. But I think the one in Florida was really the kind of the breaking point where everyone was saying, "What are we doing?" And it's so funny because I remember, back years. Maybe it's because this was kind of newer, but I love, it was the Montreal All-Star game where, that's the breakaway challenge where Ovi and Gino did the little with the hat and the water bottle, and Kane doing the Super Kane, the Superman on the ice, and Corey Perry pulling out the mini stick and things. Maybe it was because it was back then, but it was fun then. And then, but I think now it's just made for TV, I almost want to say, but it doesn't seem like the players have a stake in it either. No. I mean, look at the Nikita Kucherov in Toronto whole thing. Right. But and I applaud them trying to get creative with it. Like McDavid was a part of, I think the Toronto one where they were making up some of the skills and putting some money on the line too, where players would have a little bit more skin in the game. But the fact is, you can't compare or compete with playing for your country. It's just, it will never, ever match up to it. So you also have the guys, like, think about it. You're going sometime, like, would you rather have the week or two off, or go, depending on where the All-Star game is, would you rather go somewhere you don't want to go?
Yeah.
Like the time, who was it? I'm trying to remember. Who's the guy? I'm blanking on the player's name. Who it was? I think he was on Seattle, but he was going to go to San Diego. And he got voted to the All-Star game.
Yeah, I'm blanking too. Yeah,
which was in Toronto, and he's like,
yeah,
great.
He had everything all planned. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, yeah, I'd much rather not do that. I have plans already, but now you have to go because you got to represent the team.
Yeah, you got to cancel the Airbnb reservation.
Yeah. I forget the name of it. It's going to bug me now, and I don't want to look it up because then we'll lose traction with what we're doing. Anyway, it'll come to me. A couple more things, and then we'll get into 77 seconds. You mentioned Toronto. Mm-hmm. I'm in Toronto, and of course it's different, whatever. And I'm kind of tired of the narrative of, there's so much pressure. Yes, there's so much pressure. There's pressure in every of the 32 teams in the league. I understand. It's magnified more so in different cities. Totally get it. Is what is going on in Toronto right now all because they don't have 16, they don't have Mitch Marner still there, or is this a much deeper issue?
I don't think it's because of Mitch. I think it's deeper. I really,
yeah.
It's a team thing at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to blame. I don't think it would be fair to blame everything on Mitch Marner.
Right. They clearly miss him, but the way, like, I've been looking at, I mean, I watch a lot of their games, I watch a lot of the games in general, but a lot of their games, and they just don't seem to have any of the intensity on the ice compared to, say, in Anaheim, where San Jose, all these younger, they just don't seem to have the want or the need and even the heart to even play. And that's tough to watch.
It's one of those things where it's still early. So, like, look at Edmonton. Edmonton always they trip out of the starting gate all the time. And look at them; they've been in the Cup final the last 2 years. But it's also one of those things where you say, you don't want to discount the beginning of the season because now we're a quarter of the way in. Hard to believe we're a quarter of the way in already. But come time in late March, early April, when you're chasing for seeding, fighting to the death for a wild card spot, you're going to look back at those October, November games and say, would have really liked 2 points back in that late October game. Would have
you can't get a playoff spot in October, but you can lose one. I always say that, and
that's a good saying. That's true.
Back to October, and then in November, boy, those 2, 4, 6, 8 points that we could have had. Now we're chasing by 2, 4, 6, 8 points, right? So, okay, let me get into a few more of these things with you. So, goalie fights. You want to see more goalie fights? Yes.
I don't know about more. I want to see one.
Okay.
Give me one.
So I did some research, and I don't know if you knew this, but I didn't know this until I looked into it. Since 1954, there have been 43 recorded goalie fights. That's it. So that's like 0.6 a year, which equates to really nothing. I'm with you with it. I'm not saying you guys have to fight all the time, but if you make the effort enough to go across center and you go down to the at least referees
at least skate to center ice. Come on.
Yeah, let them have a go. Let them have they're the most padded players on the ice. I mean, I understand goalies are important, so too are the players, but I'm with you. I don't want to see fights all the time, but if they want to go, I think you should let them.
No, completely. One of my favorites is there was even an almost moment, but it was still, even though they didn't fight, it was also like the build up and the suspension was great. It was Kings Ducks in Anaheim and John Gibson, because obviously once you skate past the skate past center ice is when you're into trouble with the refs. But he just skates over. There's a whole debacle going on, and then John Gibson just skates to center ice. He just shrugs, and all of a sudden madness. It's just like that little move, that little notion of something. Hey, I'm here. You want to go? Kind of thing. But I get it. I see the. I understand from the ref standpoint, you want to control the game. You don't want to let things get out of control. You obviously don't want people to get hurt. Right. I respect that. I understand that. But I also listen. I'm an agent for chaos here. I want to see a little bit of fun. Like I still love Brent Johnson, stalking Rick DiPietro. It's still one of my favorites.
That's part of your thing, I love that, agent for disaster. You also talked to in some of your posts about the original 6 teams, and that you're kind of, I don't know if the right word is tired, but enough of this kind of original 6, whatever it is, the big hoopla around it. Can you share your thoughts on that?
Listen, I respect the history of the game. My dad is a huge Montreal Canadiens fan.
Oh,
so
fantastic. There we go.
I have been ingrained in the respect for the original 6. But when I get somebody that was born in 1995 talking to me about original 6,
right.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Literally, I was like, buddy, how many teams were in the league when you were born? Listen, my dad was one that went to the old Chicago Stadium when there were only 6 teams. He was waiting outside Madison Square Garden for Jean Beliveau's autograph back when he was a kid. He lived the original 6 era. And that's a reason. He's from New York. He's from Long Island. Okay. So everyone asks, oh, why aren't you an Islanders fan? He's like, they weren't around when I was a kid. And he didn't like the Rangers. So I also feel my hot take is, especially with the Winter Classic jerseys that were just released.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that.
The original 6 teams get a lot of leeway with jerseys because they're classic. They're timeless. Like, they don't have to do too much. And that's what I feel the Rangers led into with their jersey. I know they had their centennial one, but there was just so little effort in that. I'm so bored and tired of it. And the Red Wings redeemed themselves with their centennial jerseys. Those are great. Them.
Yep.
And they've had some great outdoor game jerseys. Their reverse retro jerseys were bland, but whatever about those.
Right.
I think I will say the Boston Bruins have done a great job with their outdoor game jerseys. I think they've had some of the best, but for the most part, the original 6 teams kind of rely on this tradition, and they put on that old eggshell kind of white, vintage white, make it felt, and put on the brown pads and gloves, and they call it a day. And it's a look. I confess, it's a look. But as somebody that loves, obviously I'm born in the 90s. I love color. I love, I'm a maximalist. I'm the opposite of a minimalist. I want to see something cool here.
So you're not kind of the keep it simple principle. You're more of let's jazz this thing up, right?
Let's jazz it up. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And listen, there's some things, the Montreal jersey is perfect. Don't touch it. There's certain jerseys like, hey, crystal clear, don't touch. As far as, standard home and away jerseys, I respect it. But like, if you get special edition ones, a third jersey, like special event ones, have fun. Yeah. I mean, it's your time to it's your creative, you get creative freedom within, I know obviously certain, restricted areas with fanatics in the league and all that, but have some fun with it. That's why I love, exactly.
Last one before we get to 77 seconds. You mentioned about jerseys, and you have a ton, I assume. Do you know how many you have? Do you know the total number?
Oh, I haven't counted in a minute.
Okay, roundabout, guesstimate?
At least 50.
At least 50. Okay.
That's the base.
You got an Avalanche one recently or something like that?
I did. I got they sent me one of their heritage jerseys, one of the Quebec Nordiques one, which is great. There's I understand where people kind of say, there's the whole argument about, the team, you stripped a city of their team, like, and now you're trying to profit off of them. Like the same thing with the Carolina Hurricanes and the Hartford Whalers. And I would feel the same way. About, if the Utah Mammoth one day decided to do Arizona Coyotes jerseys or Phoenix Coyotes preferably. Right. But but I look at that jersey, I'm like, it is cool though. I confess. And I understand the argument, and I understand, especially if those fans of those teams feeling, disrespected and salty about it. But the jersey's nice.
I'm 100% agree with you. I've taken a ton of your time. I'm going to end it with this. So here we go. Rapid fire, 77 seconds with Annie.
All right.
Here we go. We touched on this a tiny bit, but not much. Better dressed league, and put your biases aside because of what you do, the NHL or the NBA?
NBA.
Okay. What is Bill Belichick doing?
Going in adult co-ed cheer competitions. This is what he's doing.
I'm looking at him saying, Bill, he came off the field, I think, last weekend or this week or something, and barely shook hand. I just, and all of his girl, anyway, I don't know.
I
Come on,
want to know
Bill.
what he's got grown kids. I want to know what they have
What
to
do they
say
think?
about this. I can't wait for
ridiculous.
the tell-all from the kids.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. No, it's going to be a must read, must listen to. If you could tell, you may not be able to answer this, but I'll try it anyway.
Okay.
If you could tell one NHL player, what the heck are you doing with your style? Who would it be?
With your style, like fashion?
Yeah, like as
Okay.
in you need to really change top to bottom and everything in between.
Oh, Nate Schmidt, please. Oh,
Not good.
everything.
Okay. Do the Ducks make the playoffs?
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a sower are you?
Sower? Oh, I just started.
I know,
so
that's why I asked. How's it coming?
it's going. I'm learning a lot. I'm self-taught too. So
Okay.
I would give myself a 2-3. I think I'm inching up as
Okay.
I'm getting better as I'm practicing.
Okay.
I'm only making stuff for myself. I would never sell things
Not yet.
right
Not yet.
now or give it to anybody else.
Right.
But
You just wait. You just wait.
Exactly.
Maybe that'll happen.
Exactly.
Maybe that'll happen. We talked about jerseys. You mentioned the Avalanche. Favorite one that you own?
favorite one that I own,
Yeah.
I own a Mighty Ducks of Anaheim road white Peter Sikora jersey. It is my favorite.
Love it. How many arenas have you been to?
The most recent one I knocked off was the Bell Center, which is my favorite.
Which is
by far.
outstanding. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The hot dogs there,
Oh, yeah.
insane. I had no idea until
I was there twice
there.
last year. I was there twice last year. So just a side note, twice last year, and in the press box because we're doing work, and in the intermission, you get to go down to like this room. And I hadn't been to the Bell Center before, and I was told you have to get their hot dogs. I said, "Really?" I said, "Oh, whatever, fine." I think I downed 3 of them. I felt sick the rest of the game, but it was totally worth it.
Oh, I had 2, and I was like, well, the buddy I was with, he was like, oh, I said, I don't need 2, I just need 1. He's like, no, you need 2. Here you go. You're gonna want 2 at least. I
Oh, I know.
All right. I'm glad
2
I
more.
had 2.
Speaking of two more. What is 1 or 2 arenas that you are next on the bucket list that you really want to go and watch a game in?
Oh, let's see.
Have you been to Vegas?
I have been to Vegas. That's
Yeah.
a good time.
That's something else. Yeah.
I would love to go to Toronto.
Yep.
And if I can, I mean, this year I'd love to see the Saddle Dome before they tear it down.
No, agreed.
So,
Yeah.
That's on
Okay.
my list.
We'll try to get you to Toronto. We'll see what I can do.
All right.
Last one. You skied again. I think this is true. You skied for the first time at Deer Valley last year. Is that correct?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
What is harder, skating or skiing?
Oh, I was surprised how transferable they are.
Okay.
Kind of just knowing your edges
Yeah.
and things. It's tough to say because I'm not, learning. I didn't learn how to. I mean, I obviously brushed up on a lot of skills learning how to play hockey, but I grew up kind of skating, doing public skate. Just my brothers all playing.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go skiing. Skiing
Okay.
is very difficult, and I was shocked how difficult it was.
Yeah. Have you been back since? Have you skied since?
I have not, but I will be
Okay.
going back this winter. So I'm very excited to spruce up for my second time, which will
Awesome.
probably be not much improved, but it'll be
Hey,
a good time.
It's like sewing. Just take one thing at a time, right? You're going to get there on
True.
a scale of 1 to 10.
True.
Annie, this has been fun. Again, we connected last week, and I'd love to do this again. I appreciate your time. And, keep on doing what you're doing because I love the whole niche thing that you got going. And, just to talk hockey with you, too, has been awesome. So thanks again for this.
No, this was awesome, Ryan. Thank you so much for having me.
This has been Pucks in 7, available on the SiriusXM app and wherever you get your podcasts.